We had the Pistons and Magic game on lockdown. Let's see if we can find some more winners here on Thursday, April 23rd. Welcome into another episode of Droppin' Dimes, brought to you by Better and Green. Guys, we are filming for Thursday, but it is Wednesday night here. Do have to get up and leave in the morning for the weekend for a bachelor party, so want to still get some content out. Got to film it on Wednesday night in order to do so. But that being said, the second game, the Suns and Thunder game, is still going on. However, my Pistons ended up getting the win against Orlando in the first game on Wednesday. And in our video on Wednesday, guys, we really had that game dialed in. Said the Pistons minus the 8.5 points, I think is what it was down to. Liked the under in the game, liked Orlando team total under, cash all three. So feeling really good about that. Need the Suns to come through, cover the 17.5 points. See if they can get it done on the money line. Probably not, but would be fun if they could. So we'll see how that game wraps up. But three more games here on Thursday. 7 o'clock Eastern, the third-seeded Knicks heading to Atlanta to face the Hawks. 8 o'clock, we have the Cavs heading to Toronto to face the Raptors. And then the nightcap, the Nuggets, head to Minnesota to face the Timberwolves. Let's get into game number one. The Knicks, like I said, heading to Atlanta to face the Hawks. A near pick'em price. You can catch about a point right now with Atlanta as your home underdog. Over under 216.5 here. Now, this game's tricky, but I like the Knicks minus the one on the road, or just play the money line is how I would navigate that. If you like the Hawks, I would take the point. Especially in the postseason, I would always take the point with the dog. Anything under like minus 2.5, I would take the money line for your favorite. That's just how I play it personally. But yeah, I do like the Knicks in this spot. Series tied 1-1. The Hawks had a crazy comeback to get the win, 107-106. Again, another reason why you take the +1 in that scenario. But they took game two to equal up the series, now heading back to Atlanta. Ultimately, I just trust the Knicks way more than I do Atlanta. You have a team that's made the playoffs multiple times, made a playoff run last year. And it's just a team that I trust a lot more. I think they thought they had a 2-0 series in New York heading down to Atlanta, and kind of took their foot off the gas there late. Ended up letting Atlanta back in, and Atlanta took advantage of their opportunities and won that game. We called that one. We were on Atlanta plus 6.5, 7.5, I believe. Also called for the outright money line at plus 210. So cashed on those, but yeah, I do think this one sways back towards the Knicks. I do think the Knicks ultimately end up winning this series. Now, what does give me a little pause is, we saw late in that game, CJ McCollum just was taking it right at Jalen Brunson. No fear for McCollum taking it right at the Knicks' best player, although Knicks' best offensive player, not so much defensively. So, that could be the game plan moving forward here for Atlanta. But, I just trust the veteran leadership here on the Knicks, the guys that have been here, done that a little bit more often, with Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Cat, some of the other guys, Josh Hart. So, yeah, I trust the Knicks in this one, -1. Think it's a bit of a short price. Just a pick'em situation. Would play the money line for the Knicks in game number one. Game two, we have the Cleveland Cavaliers, the 4 seed in the East, heading up to Toronto to face the Raptors. Cavs lead this series 2-0, and they are currently a 2.5 point road favorite, over under 219.5. I like the favorite in this one as well with the Cavaliers. Think this is a short price. Cleveland won and covered both games in Cleveland. Really not much of a match, won both games by double digits, and I just don't know what changes here. Okay, you go back to Toronto, both teams traveling from Cleveland, not a far travel. I think Cleveland outmatches Toronto in this matchup. I think they could sweep Toronto, to be honest with you. I just don't think it's very close. And we've talked about Cleveland a few times on this show. I think Cleveland kind of sleptwalked their way to the 4 seed in the East. I just don't think they really tried that hard in the regular season. I don't think they wanted to get burned out. They didn't want to get injured. I think they knew they had the talent to get to this point, and once you're in the playoffs, anything could happen. So, yeah, I think this Cavs team is as good as anyone in the East. I do like Boston a little bit more, but I think the Cavs are live to win the Eastern Conference and go face one of the top dogs in the West in the finals. I don't think Toronto's really got much of a chance in this series. Obviously, down 2-0 already. An underdog at home in game number 3 here. Yeah, I think it's a short price on Cleveland. I would have expected this to open, maybe closer to 4.5, 5. So I think getting 2.5 points on Cleveland here, I think they're the play. I think they win this game. Lay it with the Cavaliers. And again, if you can get a playable money line like 130, I would look to just take the money line there with Cleveland for game number 2. Excuse me. Filming a lot of videos today. Throat is starting to get a little sore here, but let's wrap it up, guys, with the 9:30 Eastern start time. The Denver Nuggets heading to Minnesota to face the Timberwolves. Series tied 1-1. Denver took game 1. Minnesota comes back and takes game 2. Kind of kicking myself. I was on Minnesota in game 1. They had a big lead early, blew it, and didn't end up covering the 7.5. They then go cover the 7.5 and win outright in game number 2, and I did not have any action on them, which they were my lean, but yeah, I'm kind of kicking myself for not taking them. Well, now they're a 2.5 point home dog, over under 234.5. And once again, guys, I'm going to lay it with the road team as the favorite here. I like the Nuggets minus 2.5. And again, just think it's a really, really short price on Denver. We saw Denver laying 7.5 at home. Now on the road, laying 2.5, which I guess 5 points for home court. It just seems a little bit steep in my opinion. Now, Cleveland, they were 9.5 point favorites down to 2.5. So they're giving Toronto 7 points of home court, which I just think is ridiculous. But yeah, in this matchup, I guess, you're getting 5 for Minnesota. I just think Denver, they're ultimately, I think, the better team in this matchup. Now, I do think this series could go 6 or 7 games, but I think the Nuggets ultimately end up winning. And at 2.5 points, this is really where I like to make my money in the playoffs, when you can get these short numbers on the favorites on the road here. You don't have to lay a bunch of possessions, and you're getting the better team. And I just don't think home court is quite as large as what the books sometimes make it out to be. So yeah, I like this spot here for Denver. I think they take a 2-1 lead into game 4. Minnesota might tie it up there heading back to Denver, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, I really like the spot here for Denver. I think you're getting a really nice short price on the Nuggets. By far the better team. I think, the Timberwolves are probably feeling pretty good about themselves that they evened up that series. But at the end of the day, they're just going to be outclassed here by Denver. And, when Denver's on with their shooting, which they still really weren't as sharp shooting in game 2 as what we expect them to be, they definitely weren't in game 1. If this team's on all cylinders, they're going to be an incredibly tough out for anybody. And, I expect them to play pretty well here on Thursday. So I do like the Nuggets. Think it's a short price. Again, shop around for a money line. If you can get minus 130, I'd play it. Otherwise, lay the 2.5. But, guys, that will wrap it for Thursday's episode of Droppin' Dimes. Quick recap. Knicks money line, Cavaliers minus 2.5, and Nuggets minus 2.5. All 3 road favorites for Thursday. Thanks for watching, guys. If you have not subscribed to our channel, consider doing so. If you liked this video, hit that like button for me. Drop me a comment down below. All is welcome. We really appreciate it, guys. Trying to crank out these videos as best we can. But thanks for watching, guys. Until next time, we'll see you for another episode of Droppin' Dimes, brought to you by Better and Green.